My parents divorced when I was really young, and stepdads came and went, but I didn't really have a solid role model example through those years growing up. And as I entered my adolescence and teen years, I really started to contemplate, like, what is a man? Like, who do I want to become, and what kind of man do I want to become? Right? Like, how do I want to live my life? And I ended up moving out. Things were tough at home, and I ended up moving out at 16. And I was surrounded by teens who, the guys on my sports teams, were drinking and doing drugs and having sex with all kinds of different girls, and were in gangs and doing drive-by shootings over the weekend. It was crazy. And then I was living in poor areas, and the men in those areas were alcoholics and drug addicts, and there was a lot of domestic violence and violence and vandalism and theft all around. There was severe addictions. They were buffering and numbing with TV or whatever, and they were cheating on their wives, or just living lives that now looking back you're like, well, yeah, those were not, they're examples of what not to do. And luckily there were glimpses. There were really great men who, when I was young, would reach out to support my family. And then when I was out on my own, a few truly phenomenal men reached out to help and love and support me. And they did. They gave me a glimpse of what it meant to be a man. And so I was in this spot where, I wanted to know, voraciously, desperately wanted to know, what were the secrets to success and happiness, and what was the formula to being a truly great man. And even in that journey, like, what is a great man? Now, luckily, somebody, when I was around 16 or 17, gave me a copy of the book The Hiding Place. And one of the first people you read about is Casper Ten Boom. And what a man, standing up for what was true and for what was right. What an example of manhood. He ultimately ended up giving his life to do the right thing. Then somebody gave me a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? Because I needed that book. But in there I started to see, the man that Carnegie was, and the examples he shared in there. He loved Lincoln and others. And so I started reading, and then I was reading other historical fictions and other fictions like Tom Clancy's books. And you start putting together this picture of what it meant to be a man, and started formulating in my mind, like, okay, who do I want to be? How do I want to do life? And I'm seeing all these examples all around, right? Most of what I was seeing was what not to do. And fortunately, at a young age, I was able to look and say, kind of see the end result of those actions. And I was being offered drugs and alcohol and girls and violence and crime and all this stuff. And I was like, somehow, miraculously, and I give credit to God, I was able to see clearly and be like, none of that stuff is going to bring me the happiness I want. It's not going to make me and shape me into the man I wanted to become. So I became voracious in my research and my study. I read everything I could get my hands on. I paid attention. I asked questions. I literally took notes. I observed carefully, and I was watching for real men. And I found the answers. I found the formula. And I started putting it in practice and started testing it and experiencing it myself, and started getting results. And immediately getting those results, I desperately wanted to share them with others, right? This intense feeling and desire to take what I was learning, what was actually working, and share it with as many people as could. Because when you go through such challenging and difficult things, you get this sense and this desire to prevent that from happening in others. And I wanted to share what worked. Well, it worked big time. And I ended up marrying the woman of my dreams, literally. Rachel is unbelievable, and we have an extraordinary marriage. And together we've built this extraordinary dream life that we dreamed up together and created and designed together. Now with our 7 kids, we live a life on our own terms, right? We literally wrote our own ticket. And for us, extensive travel, as a family was our big dream. And so far we've been able to take our children to over 35 countries and counting, and creating these amazing adventures and seeing the world together and doing work that we love and work that's meaningful, work that provides a lot of abundance and opportunity for our family and provides freedom where I can work from anywhere around the world, literally. And as I was going through this journey and getting these results and just continuing to level up and still continuing to level up and still studying this voraciously, like peak performance and what is it really that truly makes a man a man. And I realized there has to be a place. Men need a training ground where they can have the tools and the training, where they can have the strategies and the techniques, that they can have access to that all the time and put it into their lives and have constant reminders, and they can practice it and they learn it. So often potential is untapped merely because we don't have the right tool or don't know how to put it into practice. We don't know how to build the systems and the strategies. And ultimately that's why I do what I do. That's what led me into teaching and mentoring and coaching, and ultimately why I created the Be the Man Masterclass and Academy. And men also need a tribe. We need a group of men who are committed to greatness, to living life as our best selves and supporting each other. So ultimately we can lean into the roles we all have and be the best, our best self as husbands, fathers, leaders, businessmen, really providing, protecting our families, and as men. And when I created this, it was a place that, no joke, I had been thinking about it for well over a decade, a place where men can gather to get the tools, to get the training, to have the tribe, everything we need to put into practice the proven principles and practices that just work to help us live life as our best self, and lean into, get a clear picture of what it means to be a man, which again, that was a hard, slow journey for me. I didn't have the example. And so now we get to bring these men together in these examples, put them in one place so that all of us, wherever we're at on our journey, have access to what it looks like and how to build it. We can create the vision and the plan and the support group to actually make it happen and live the kind of life that you know you're capable of living.